Yeah, so Connor at the time was just shy of 3 years old. In the fall of 2010, Connor wasn't feeling good for multiple weeks throughout October-ish into November. We had been to the walk-in clinic multiple times because he was just not feeling great, constantly drinking. We were going through potty training. He was using the bathroom every 15 minutes like it was the first time all day. We're being told it's a virus, or maybe he just has a sore throat and he's soothing it with liquid. So we did that for about 3, maybe 4 weeks. At that point in time, I called Dr. Troutman, our primary physician. His nurse advised me that the symptoms that we provided them, the constant drinking, constant urination, that we needed to come in and see Dr. Troutman, that there's a possibility that a type 1 diabetes diagnosis was there. I was a little upset at her comment. I did not appreciate that, that was what she gave me. I called my mother and was just like, I can't do another doctor's visit. I can't miss another minute of work. Can you please take Connor in and go through these tests with him? I'm sure it's nothing. And so she did. She went and picked up Connor, took him to Dr. Troutman's office. And 20 minutes later, I got a phone call that he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. At that point in time, Brad and I met at the PEDS unit at St. Luke's, where we were taken upstairs to the ICU and would spend the next 5 days learning as much as we possibly could about type 1 diabetes. Eastern Iowa JDRF brought us a care package with, I should get Rufus. I love Rufus.
Yeah, Rufus is pretty awesome. We still have ours too.
Okay. While we were in the hospital learning everything we could about type 1 diabetes, Eastern Iowa JDRF was fantastic. They brought us a care package that included Rufus, which helped Connor learn, where he could poke himself with his insulin pens or, on his fingers to test his blood sugar.
It was something we just had to learn as fast as we could and absorb it as quickly as we could, and it was part of our life now, so.
It was a very trying time. I was 7 months pregnant with Caleb, and so we spent a lot of time in the hospital and had a lot of visitors, but most importantly, just having the support of the JDRF staff from day one was phenomenal. Connor would always poke his finger by himself, never really let us do that for him unless he was asleep. He would tell you that we couldn't poke him anywhere but at his fingers. However, we snuck some toes in there sometimes when he was asleep just to save his little fingers. And once we got to the pump, it was just less pokes in the day. So with the pens, we had to give insulin, up to 10 times a day, potentially, depending on what his eating habits were that day, his Lantus that he would have to take. And so the pump allowed for him to have 1 poke every 3 days versus 10 a day, which was, more nice because it allowed the freedom to, he could just do it by entering a number versus having to come to me to give that to him.
His poor fingers within 4 to 5 years were so tough that, they felt like sandpaper. And it was just like calloused, like old man hands.
And then a couple years ago, we got into the CGMs, the continuous glucose monitors, which have been amazing. During sports, Connor would have to come over if he wasn't feeling right. We would have to manually check his blood sugars. And, it would take away from his time on the field or with his friends. By using the continuous glucose monitor, it checks him automatically every, I think 3 to 5 minutes. So now when he's out on the football field and his phone is close to him, we are able to monitor it from the stands. So if I see something happening or a trend, I know, when next time he comes off the field, I give him what he needs to resolve that situation. The technology that's been provided through donations to JDRF have been phenomenal in his growth as an athlete, as a person.
Gives him the freedom to be like everybody else is. And instead of stepping aside and always trying to maintain himself and keep himself feeling okay.
And the fact that the technology works with so many different devices. He has his iWatch that allows him, he doesn't even have to take out his phone anymore to look at it. He can just simply hold his wrist up, or we have the My IDs that allow, if he was to pass out and we weren't around, somebody could scan the QR code and it would tell what's wrong with him. It's just so imperative, because you just never know what could happen. And you're in a car accident, you don't want them giving him anything that could, mess with his blood sugars and do something even worse. So it's just very exciting that we have the technology now to be able to be at home while he's at school and still know what's going on and not have to worry constantly.
You can go to a friend's house and spend the night, and we don't stay up all night just wondering, worrying, thinking, like, are they going to be able to do what he needs if we're not there? Are we going to get 500 phone calls?
So Connor, about 6 years ago, like I said, went from doing shots daily to his pump, his insulin pump. So this essentially acts like a pancreas for him. He inserts his blood sugar via his Dexcom, and it provides the insulin that he needs to a very precise amount. To help him stay regulated between that 80 and 120 range that we go for. And the Dexcom that he uses is actually another piece of equipment that is inserted into his skin that checks his blood sugar every 3 to 5 minutes, I believe, and provides us up-to-date, accurate information. So even at night when we're sleeping and the alarm goes off, we all know what's going on with Connor 24 hours a day, which is phenomenal. I think what made us get involved with the walk initially was just, the fact that so many people wanted to know so much more. Everybody rallied around us. They were, how can I help? What can I learn?
It was a support group for everybody.
It was a support, not only for us, but grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody. We all rallied around to really understand what this is about, see the community that we could be involved in. And we've been doing walks for 10 years with JDRF, specifically with the Eastern Iowa team. And along with that, we believe in so much that JDRF offers us in terms of, technology that they're helping with and eventually
support.
Hopefully a cure and support. We try to do everything we can to make sure we're raising the dollars to do that. So we not only are involved with the walk, but we are involved with the ride. So the JDRF Ride to Cure. I have been in it 4 years. Connor this year is 13, and he'll be able to join us this year as well. So very exciting. It doesn't take much, right? You can jump on your bike and ride a few miles and post it on Facebook, or just showing support for these kids who really, need this technology in order to have a fulfilling life. Grabbing a candy bar at Hy-Vee on your way through the line, or throwing $1 in a can somewhere for JDRF, every single dollar counts, and we really appreciate everybody in our community.
So I'd like to personally thank the Dakota Red family for jumping in and supporting this journey as we do. And one day we'll have a cure.